All rise.
I want viewers watching my show to believe in themselves.
Judge Hatchett is compelling,
It's not worth it. She needs to be worthy of you.
compassionate,
I don't want you to give up on your dreams. I don't. And I want to figure out how we get this straight.
she's powerful,
Absolutely not. How dare you do that?
and she's on the bench.
Both of you all that did wrong, we will stand adjourned.
You're watching The Verdict with Judge Hatchett. Tommy Morgan is suing Deja Reynolds in the amount of $1,500. Mr. Morgan claims Ms. Reynolds asked him to pay for their son's school ski trip and says she lied about the cost so her other kids could take the trip too.
So you're in court today suing your ex for some $1,500. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So tell me about the relationship between the two of you, please.
Sure. Deja and I dated briefly about 9 years ago, and it was never anything serious, but it did end up with a pregnancy.
Really, honestly, I never ceases to amaze me when people say, but Judge, it's nothing serious, it's nothing serious. But by the way, it ended up in a baby, and really, any time a birth of a baby is serious, it's serious. It just
we
is.
basically lived together. That's how serious it was.
So this is not just a casual relationship. You all were living together.
I mean,
Were you living together?
there was an extended period of time where we were under the same roof, but it was never anything we discussed. There was no...
Yeah, we're living together. Why can't you just say that?
Yeah, and he was there for all our important events, Christmas, birthdays of my children, and now he's just saying it wasn't anything serious.
So it was serious because there's a baby. And that's part of the basis, really the basis of why you're in court today. Because it's my understanding from the complaint that you filed that you gave her $1,500.
I gave her $2,000.
$2,000.
Yeah.
All right, so explain to me what happened.
We had last winter, my child's school had a Christmas ski trip, and when it came about, she asked for the money to cover it.
Okay, so stop right there. How old is your son?
8.
8. And do you have a relationship with your son?
Absolutely.
You do? You
Yeah.
see him? And when I talk about support, I don't mean just financial support. I mean emotional support. Do you support him financially, emotionally? You're there for him?
All of the above.
All right, so my understanding is that you were never married to each other, right?
No, we were not married.
But there is a precious 8-year-old son, and then Tommy has been supportive, as he's saying. Is that correct? That he's been there?
Well, he has been very supportive when, in earlier years. He is very supportive also of my other children. Like, he always tried to include them.
And how many children do you have?
I have 4 in total.
Okay, so are they older, younger than?
The others are older. They're 10, 12, and 13.
Okay, so the children are older, and the son that you all have together is 8.
8, yes,
all right,
exactly.
So in total you have 4 children.
Yes, exactly.
All right,
yeah.
and so he's been supportive not only of your son that you have together, but of the other 3 children that you have.
Yes, very supportive until he met his new girlfriend. Apparently they're in a serious relationship with this one. So he has just become more distant. He still supports our son financially really well, but I wouldn't say so much emotionally anymore, or he's not there as much anymore as he used to.
Is that true? Do you see your son less now than you used to?
For our child, I'm always there.
All right.
But
And
see,
your
that's the
child,
problem.
so that we're clear, your child is 8 years old, a little boy. What's his name?
Jason.
Jason. All right, so Jason, so that we call him by his name. Jason is 8, and you're saying that not only are you there and supportive of him financially, but you're there supporting him emotionally.
Absolutely. All the extracurriculars for school, weekends, anytime I can.
So talk to me about what happened. There was a ski trip at your son's school, and tell me what happened.
Yes, so she informed me of the trip, and told me it was going to cost $2,000.
$2,000.
Yeah, for a week-long trip.
Okay.
And I didn't think anything of it. I sent her the money. I have a receipt here
All right.
of
May
the
I
bank
see
transfer. Absolutely.
All right, so did you tell him that this was a $2,000 trip
I did.
and that he needed to send $2,000 for your son Jason to go on a week-long ski trip with his school? Is that correct?
I did, yeah.
And he sent you the $2,000. All right, and so did Jason go on a trip with his school?
Yes, he did.
Did it cost $2,000?
Well, it was the holiday, and I just didn't want him to go by himself because I felt like I want to do this as a family because it was the first Christmas that Tommy would not come around, and I wanted them to have a special kind of Christmas, so I took my other children.
Coming up on The Verdict with Judge Hatchett.
But is it true that you led him to believe that his son's trip cost $2,000?
I guess. I told him
Excuse
it's for
me,
the...
what? What? You guess?
The Verdict with Judge Hatchett is back with the case of Tommy Morgan, who is suing Deja Reynolds for fraud.
So basically, the trip was $500 per child.
Correct.
Pretty much, yeah.
And so what you said to Tommy is $2,000, our son needs to go on the ski trip with his school. And he didn't hesitate, it looks like. He just absolutely, automatically sent you the money.
Yep.
But is it true that you led him to believe that his son's trip cost $2,000?
I guess. I told him
Excuse
it's for
me,
the...
what? What? You guess?
No, it's true. We talked very briefly, so I said it was for the school trip, but he also didn't ask any more questions.
Wait a minute. Do you know how you sound to me right now? Are you listening to yourself as to how you sound to me right now? What you did is you said, look, our son has a school ski trip. Are you hearing what I'm hearing?
I hear exactly what you're hearing.
And that this trip is going to cost $2,000 for Jason to go on the school trip. You didn't say anything about the other 3 children going on the school trip, did
No,
you? Did you?
I
Did you?
didn't.
Yes or no?
I didn't, no.
All right, so now you are saying, listen, I sent you not $500, I sent you $2,000.
Correct.
And I want my $1,500 back because I didn't commit to pay for the other 3 children.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, there's a deeper issue here. So, I am fairly convinced that Tommy has done what he needed to do, not only for his child, but it sounds like he's been very generous to the other 3 children as well. Is that fair?
He has been. I just have a very hard time that he's not in our lives anymore. I don't want my children to suffer, to go through therapy when they're older because all these changes, and especially they're teenagers, so I feel like they're so precious during that time.
If you're worried about your other kids having trauma, you should talk to their father.
Well, but he's around. He just can't financially support them as well. So they do feel left out in that kind of sense sometimes.
So what you're saying basically is that Tommy ought to finance your other children's activities.
No, I'm not saying finance altogether. I'm just saying keep it the way it was, like still give them a birthday present or a Christmas present. And I just kind of saw the $2,000 as like a present for us, for the family, for everyone.
There are a lot of different ways that families make this work. Families that are not traditional kinds of families, right? It sounds like to me that Tommy has really been over backwards to be accommodating to your other children. But it also sounds like he has someone new in your life. Is that right, what's going on now?
That's correct.
Right. And are you happy?
Yeah, we are very happy. We've been together for a while now, and we're starting to plan our future together.
All right. And you're really feeling like this new woman in his life really is taking not only some of his attention away from your other children, but also the financial support of your other children. I mean, is that just fair? I mean, let's be fair about this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't ask for much, and it's not like I'm asking for money for myself. That would be a different story, but I just ask, you know, to just treat my children the same as he used to treat them, and I just don't find it fair that from one day to the other, he just pretty much like kind of cuts them off.
Well, it's not
if
fair
you want to say it like
to have
that.
Expectations of me.
And
when
I
there should
don't
be
have
none.
expectation in like you buying them super expensive presents, just something as like, you know, just an appreciation.
I've given them plenty, and I don't think a blank check is considered a gift.
Oh, my goodness. What is your the relationship between the two of you like? Any issues between the two of you now?
There weren't.
Do you resent the fact that he has this new relationship?
I don't resent that. I want him to be happy because obviously, you know, our relationship is done. But I just kind of feel like that she's influencing him in that sense. And I think it's nice that you want to plan your future together, but just don't forget about your responsibilities.
Well, wait, let's stop there. Let's stop right there. Let's stop right there. The word you used was your responsibilities. I want you to think about this for a minute. He has been very generous to your other children. Your other children are not his responsibility. They aren't. I would hope that he would continue to acknowledge them, perhaps. But the real reason that we're in court today is that you deceived him. I mean, let's just call it like it is. I don't think you're a bad person. I don't. And if I did, I would be all over you in this courtroom today. I mean, I would give you a really tough time, and I'm not. But this is not honest.
Coming up,
There are two ways to lie. You can lie directly, or you can lie by what we call omission. And you can lie by not telling them the rest of the story. It's still a lie. It's still a lie.
The Verdict with Judge Hatchett is back with the case of Tommy Morgan, who is suing Deja Reynolds for fraud.
This is not honest. Because when you went and got this $2,000 from him, the truth is that the trip only cost $500 for Jason. You then, without telling him, basically had him finance the ski trip for all of your children. And that's not right. It's just not right. And the truth is that he didn't have to do anything for these other children from day one. He didn't have to do that. He did not have to do that. But he did. And the fact is now that for whatever reasons, he's decided that this is not what he wants to continue to do. You have to respect that and be grateful for the fact that he has done what he's done for your children in the past. And so you owe him an apology. You really do owe him an apology, because there are two ways to lie. You can lie directly, or you can lie by what we call omission. And you can lie by not telling them the rest of the story. It's still a lie. It's still a lie. And I don't want to beat up on you. I realize that you have a tremendous responsibility with these 4 children. But then the reality is that they are not Tommy's responsibility. They just aren't. They aren't.
Coming up,
And so I need you to apologize to him. I really do.
I'm sorry.
That was
I lied
about,
to you.
What? That was about as sincere as
I know.
this.
It's just difficult to do this not in person,
Do I need
you
to
know,
come?
with you
Do I need to
watching.
come down there? Do I need to come down there?
The Verdict with Judge Hatchett is back with the case of Tommy Morgan, who is suing Deja Reynolds for fraud.
You weren't honest with him. You didn't tell him that the other money was going to be spent on your children. You kind of made this huge leap of an assumption that he has always done for them in the past, so what's the harm in him doing it for them now? It's not right. And you owe him an apology. I want you to apologize to him right here in my courtroom.
Yeah, I just didn't think it would be such a big deal because, you know, he has a great job and everything, but yeah.
He has a great job. He could be a billionaire. That's not the point. It's the principle of the thing. He could be a multi-billionaire. It is the principle of the thing that I'm talking to you about. And so I need you to apologize to him. I really do. I need you to apologize to him now.
I'm sorry
That was
I lied
about,
to you.
What? That was about as sincere as
I know.
this.
It's just difficult to do this not in person,
Do I need
you
to
know,
come?
with you
Do I need to
watching.
come down there? Do I need to come down there?
No, I'll try it again. I'm sorry that I lied to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor.
Judge Hatchett's verdict when we return.
I hope that, Tommy, you don't have an obligation to these other children, but maybe not lavish gifts, but maybe birthday cards, maybe a greeting from here or there.
Absolutely.
So that there is not such an abrupt drop off. And so I think you're a good guy, and I hope that you will do some gestures so that it's not, again, such a drop for them, because obviously it appears that you've been very generous and very wonderful to them in their lives. And it doesn't have to be all the time. It has to be every once in a while. But those things matter to children. And also, it will matter to Jason, too, because these are his siblings. And it will show that you are concerned not just with him, but for all the children. Does that make sense?
Yes, Your Honor.
And so there's no question but that I am going to rule in Tommy's favor today. He is going to get the balance of the $2,000 that was spent on the other children back. So, judgment for the reasons I've stated, in the interest of the plaintiff for $1,500, and I wish you both well. We'll stand adjourned.
Judge Hatchett has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant has been ordered to pay $1,500.
I'll always be Jason's father, but don't try to lie into making me your sugar daddy.
Well, sugar daddy, okay.
Exit to the rear of the court. Come this way, please.